In this full-length weather forecast, we're going to go over some important weather updates regarding the latest precipitation and temperature trends here in Europe through the middle of November, as well as the latest on the return of large and impactful extratropical cyclones in the United States. Let's kick this off by taking a look at our featured photos for today, and yes, we do have more than one since I got quite a few submissions, especially from Spain. Firstly, Extreme Weather Chaser Theo sent a picture of this impressive waterspout from the Barcelona area on October 27th. Also from the Barcelona area, we have an amazing nighttime lightning photo. This one was submitted by Stormy Alert on October 31st. Lastly, the most recent submission comes from the Benidorm area on November 3rd. It goes without saying that Spain has had a rough last couple of weeks, and the weather pattern which remains established across Europe is to blame. I'll talk more about what may be coming up next in the Iberian Peninsula in a moment, but just as a quick reminder, if you would like to have your weather-related picture featured on the next video, make sure to join my Discord server, which is linked below. Now back to the forecast. The remnants of Tropical Storm Patty are moving through parts of Portugal and far western Spain today, bringing some gusty winds and areas of heavier rainfall. This system should be history by the middle of the week, but one thing that won't be disappearing in the near future is the anticyclonic influence across most of Europe, which, by the way, played a significant role in trapping the cutoff low over Spain for an extended period of time. Thankfully, I'm not expecting another major or widespread flood risk in the near future despite this persisting weather pattern, but I did want to point out that we will see a gradual increase in thunderstorm activity across the Mediterranean in the coming days, with some storms trying to stick around in the vicinity of Spain's Mediterranean coast and the Balearic Islands, so I can't fully rule out some more isolated instances of flash flooding, especially since those storms would likely be very slow moving. Very little additional rain can be expected across the majority of Iberia, but once again I can't write off some thunderstorms and downpours mainly in coastal areas of Spain, and the same goes for Italy, Corsica, Sardinia, France, and Northern Africa. Looking across the rest of Europe, no rainfall is expected in numerous countries from the Balkans to southern Scandinavia, as that large area of high pressure redirects any incoming Atlantic disturbances up into the Norwegian Sea, delivering significant amounts of precipitation to the far north. Some of that precipitation will fall as snow, as you can see on the latest snowfall map for the same time frame, particularly from far northern portions of Norway, Sweden, and Finland into western Russia, and even as far south as the Caucasus Mountains, while the rest of Europe is snow-free. The lack of precipitation is obviously a big factor in the absence of snow, but the abnormally warm weather is equally at fault. You can see that areas further north and east turn warmer than average during the day, with lower than average temperatures overnight, but several countries further north and west are just consistently running above average. As the animation keeps playing and we start looking towards next week, there is a sign that things could be changing. Different models show different outcomes, as they usually do when we look this far ahead, but the main idea is the possibility of a storm system moving in from the north as we approach the middle of November, and this would involve colder temperatures, rainfall, and even snow for places that are currently dry. Those trends will be monitored very closely and further updates will be posted as needed, but those were the main things I wanted to talk about in Europe for the next week and a half. This would usually be the point when I thank you all for watching and remind you to stick around for the next update, but after doing a channel review I realized that many of you probably wouldn't mind seeing what's going on in the world of weather on the opposite side of the Atlantic, especially since so much of that eventually has a direct effect on us in Europe, so I'm happy to announce that I'm officially reincorporating North American weather updates mainly into my full-length weather forecasts. We can start by taking a look at the tropics, since we will soon have another hurricane entering the Gulf of Mexico. This one is called Rafael, and it's currently a tropical storm as of today, Tuesday, November 5th. It's passing close to Jamaica as of this morning, bringing tropical storm conditions to the island. Next in line will be the Cayman Islands and Cuba Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday, where hurricane warnings are in effect. By Wednesday evening, it will be entering the Gulf of Mexico. This could cause concern at first glance, but unlike hurricanes Helene and Milton, Rafael is not expected to reach the U.S. Gulf Coast as a hurricane. There's definitely time for shifts in the expected track and intensity to occur, but the current expectation is for the system to enter the Gulf of Mexico at hurricane intensity before slowing down and weakening. Regardless, a plume of tropical moisture will move into the US, so if nothing else, this system should bring some beneficial rainfall across the southeast. The reason why I say beneficial is because just about all of the lower 48 is under some level of drought, so lots of places could really use the rain. Speaking of rainfall, a much more active weather pattern has recently taken hold across the country after an extended period of very calm conditions. The downside of this more active pattern has been the outbreaks of severe weather across the Central Plains, particularly in the state of Oklahoma, where tornadoes caused destruction over the weekend. Fortunately, we don't expect any more significant severe weather events, at least for the next few days, but I would watch the end of this week, right around the time that Rafael is in the Gulf of Mexico, for an uptick in the severe weather risk once again. This is how much rain we could be looking at through Saturday, and it could be quite heavy, especially in the south central and southeastern United States, while the northeast and southwest is mostly dry. In Colorado, New Mexico, and maybe even western Nebraska and Kansas in particular, I would be watching out for some snowfall later this week. That's going to be all for this forecast, but remember to subscribe and drop a like if you enjoyed and would like to see more. In addition to any questions or concerns you might have, feel free to leave any feedback below on these adjustments to my videos. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.